The fog rolls in thick, swallowing the quiet town of Black Hollow in a ghostly haze. Laura drives along a winding, empty road, the dense mist making it nearly impossible to see. Her headlights flicker, casting brief glimpses of the shadowy landscape beyond. A sense of unease creeps over her as she checks the clock on her dashboard. It's stuck, frozen at 12:01 a.m. No matter how many times she taps it, the time won't change. As the road stretches out ahead, the fog grows even thicker, wrapping itself around her car like a suffocating shroud. Suddenly, Laura spots a figure in the mist, standing on the side of the road. She slams on the brakes, heart pounding. The figure, a tall, dark silhouette, doesn't move, just watches. Laura hesitates but rolls down her window slightly. "Are you okay?" She calls out into the void, but there's no response. The figure doesn't move or speak, only stares. Nervously, Laura considers driving off but feels an odd pull to the figure, something inexplicable holding her in place. She squints, trying to make out the details through the fog, but the figure is just a vague shape. The silence is oppressive, weighing on her, and the longer she stares, the more unsettling it becomes. She feels the prickling sensation of being watched, not just by the figure but by something else in the fog, something unseen. Suddenly, her car radio crackles to life with a burst of static. A faint voice whispers through the interference, but it's too garbled to understand. Laura's skin crawls as she frantically turns the radio off. When she looks back, the figure is gone. Heart racing, she checks her rearview mirror. Nothing but fog. Had she imagined it? The road ahead is still empty, but the oppressive feeling of being watched lingers. Laura presses on, driving further into the fog. Black Hollow had always been a quiet place, but tonight, it feels wrong, like a place out of time. She had heard whispers about the town's strange history, rumors of disappearances, and a curse tied to the fog. The locals said the fog wasn't natural, that it came with something darker. She had never believed in such nonsense, until now. Her car sputters, the engine choking, and suddenly dies. The headlights flicker once, twice, then go out completely. Darkness swallows the world around her, and Laura is left in the eerie silence of the fog. Panic sets in as she tries to restart the car, but the engine only groans in protest. Outside, something moves, just at the edge of her vision. A shadow flickers past the windshield, gone as quickly as it appeared. Then she hears it. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate footsteps approaching her car. Frantically, she locks the doors, heart pounding in her chest. The footsteps stop right outside her window. Laura holds her breath, terrified to look, but curiosity gets the better of her. She slowly turns her head to the window and gasps. There, standing inches from the glass, is the figure she saw before. Laura's body goes rigid with fear. She fumbles for her phone, desperately trying to call for help, but there's no signal. The figure taps gently on her window, the sound unnervingly calm, as if it knows there's no escape. Slowly, it raises a hand, pointing to something in the distance. Laura follows its gesture, peering through the fog, but sees nothing at first, just darkness. Then, faintly, she makes out shapes in the mist. More figures, standing far off the road, their outlines barely visible. They stand motionless, watching. The realization hits her like a punch to the gut. There's more than one. The fog is filled with them, silent watchers who seem to appear from nowhere. Laura's breath comes in short gasps as the figure outside her window steps back into the fog, vanishing once more. The others remain in the distance, still watching, still waiting. She knows now that they aren't human, never were. The stories were true. The fog brings them, and once it envelops the town, they hunt. Gathering what little courage she has left, Laura tries the ignition one last time. Miraculously, the engine sputters to life, the headlights flickering on weakly. She slams the car into gear and speeds down the road, her hands trembling on the wheel. The watchers in the fog remain motionless, their hollow eyes tracking her as she drives past. But the fog doesn't let go so easily. It thickens, swirling around her, blurring the road ahead. The car's clock remains frozen at 12:01 a.m., as if time itself has stopped. Laura glances at the rearview mirror and freezes. The figure is in the back seat, its cold eyes staring back at her. A scream rips from her throat as the car swerves off the road. The screen fades to black, and the only sound is the soft hum of the engine dying once more. The fog rolls on, consuming everything in its path. The road lies empty, swallowed by the thick, creeping fog, the watchers remain silent and unmoving, waiting for the next soul to come their way.